How do we know when the engine is secured? Well, if it is an engine failure without damage, switching the master off secures the engine. Maybe we can relight it later on. If the engine is damaged after engine 1 is discharged, then engine is secured. And if it is an engine fire, after the fire is extinguished or after engine 2 discharge, then the engine is considered secured.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my channel Captain SQ, where we're going to discuss on Airbus systems, emergency procedures, and supplementary techniques on how to fly the plane.
Yo, what's up guys? Welcome to A320 engine failure at V1. Disclaimer, always refer to your company manuals. This video is merely a guide. So this failure, we are normally tested on this in the simulator, so let us go through it. Okay, so today we are going to depart from runway 25 of Whiskey Bravo Golf Golf. The SID does not matter because at V1 there will be an engine fire and we'll get airborne and perform the special engine out failure procedure. The engine out procedure for runway 25 will be at 1.5 DME. After Victor Kilo Golf, make a right turn on a heading of 068. Thereafter, intercept and follow radial 020. Maximum speed is 225 knots, and when established on a radial of 020 and at or above 2,000 feet, make a right turn to this waypoint called Kikak, which is Kilo India Kilo Alpha Kilo holding point, and to hold at that waypoint, which is an inbound course of 232 degrees, making a right turn. This is just an example. So when the failure happens, the pilot monitoring will call out the failure. A good tip is to keep the plane on the center line by using the rudder pedals and then rotate the aircraft. Rotate to a pitch of 12.5 degrees, then follow SRS orders. You can set toga thrust if your aircraft is heavy. The aircraft will maintain a set speed target, which is the higher of V2 or your current speed limited to V2 plus 15 knots. Beta target will replace side slip indicator. It will be in blue color. Once you get a positive rate of climb and your vertical speed indicator is going up, call for gear up. Adjust the rudder to keep the beta target center. With the beta target centered, trim the rudder. Why do we need to make it center? Well, you can reduce the drag and get optimum aircraft performance. How to trim the rudder will be by using the rotary selector on the pedestal, which will trim at a rate of 1 degree per second. With an engine fail, the trim range will be at a ballpark figure of around 15 degrees to 18 degrees. Once the aircraft is trimmed, fly on the FDs and switch on the autopilot. Now the flight path is stable and above 400 feet above the runway, call out for ECAM actions. Okay, let us look at the ECAM actions. Engine 1 fail, engine mode selector to ignition. Thrust lever 1 idle, and the thrust levers should be moved by the pilot flying. Remember, the movement of thrust levers, engine master switches, fire push buttons and guarded switches must be confirmed by both pilots. Do review my previous videos regarding this. Thrust levers idle 1 confirm. Thrust lever 1 idle. With the mode selector at ignition and thrust lever at idle, the FedEx will attempt an automatic relight. Engine master 1 off. Confirm. Engine master 1 off. This action will close the low pressure and high pressure fuel valve and reset the FedEx. Next, what is considered an engine damage? Well, if you know the answer, do comment below. In this engine failure, there is damage, so there's no option for an engine relight. The pilot monitoring will call out engine 1 fire push button push confirm, and once confirmation is received, the pilot monitoring will push the engine 1 fire push button. This action will isolate the engine from the fuel, hydraulic power, electrical power and bleed air, and also arms the squibs. The ECAM countdown will be to reduce the nasal ventilation and increase the effect of the agent. Discharge Agent 1. Another scenario, if there is no damage, a relight can be attempted by the crew. However, it is recommended to perform all of the ECAM actions first and only consider an engine relight procedure when reaching the status page. Stop the ECAM, clean up the aircraft when the engine is secured. Now would be a good time to call a PAN or Mayday call and inform ATC of your intentions. How do we know when the engine is secured? Well, if it is an engine failure without damage, switching the masters off secures the engine. Maybe we can relight it later on. If the engine is damaged after Agent 1 is discharged, then engine is secured. And if it is an engine fire, after the fire is extinguished or after Agent 2 discharge, then the engine is considered secured. Do make sure not to exceed the maximum takeoff thrust limit of 10 minutes. At acceleration altitude, push vert speed to give vert speed 0. At F speed, select flaps 1. At S speed, select flaps 0. As the speed reaches green dot, pull altitude selector for open climb. Set MCT when lever MCT message appears on the FMA. If thrust levers is in flex, set climb briefly, then to MCT. If thrust levers is in toga, then you can set MCT directly. After flap retraction, disarm the spoilers and turn off the runway and turn off lights. Continue the ECAM. You can monitor the fuel imbalance. The TCAS will be set to TA because the aircraft performance may not be capable of any RA orders. Clear the engine 1 fail. Next will be land ASAP amber. It is advisable to consider landing at the nearest suitable airport. Let us have a look at the secondary system failures. System pages, only one bleed is available. Over here you can switch the cross bleed to shut. Why do we do that? Well, do comment below if you know the answer. The pilot monitoring analyzes the electric page. Only one generator supplying the electrical network. Consider starting the APU. Pilot monitoring analyzes the hydraulic page. The failed engine hydraulic system is powered by the PTU, power transfer unit, from the other hydraulic. Stop ECAM prior to the status page. After takeoff climb checklist, down to the line and check for any computer resets. Then the pilot monitoring reads the status page. Read the status page on the left hand side and thereafter on the right hand side on the inoperative systems. ECAM actions. Once you have completed the ECAM actions, now it is the time to decide where you want to divert or land, because you have to land ASAP. Well, you are only flying with one engine, so don't hang around in the air for long. Considerations for a suitable airport will be the weather conditions, the runway length. The performance calculations will be important to you because you might be overweight, have some issues with your flaps or slats or even gears, or maybe the approach is a circling approach. All these factors will affect the approach and landing of your aircraft. So run through the QRH if applicable. Once you have prepared the FMGS, the pilot flying will give a briefing for the approach, go around and other important items. Next will be to tell your cabin crew. Well, depending on your airline standard operating procedures, all the briefings to the cabin crew will cover these items like the nature of the emergency, the intentions moving forward, time taken until landing and any other special instructions. You could later inform air traffic control ATC of your intention and later on your company. Other people you need to inform will be your passengers. So an example of a public announcement will be, "This is your captain speaking. We are experiencing a slight technical issue and we will be heading back to the airport. We appreciate your patience and understanding." So after the approach, let us move on to single engine landing. The auto land is available with one engine inoperative. The beta target remains yellow as long as the thrust on the remaining engine is below a certain value. The slip indicator becomes the blue beta target when flaps are selected and the aircraft is approaching its maximum thrust capability. Do not select the gear down too early as large amounts of power will be required to maintain level flight. Recommended technique is gear down at GS star. The rudder trim should be reset to 0 in the later stages of the approach. When you land, will you select full reverses or idle reverse? What do you think? In case of go around, select toga thrust to initiate the go around phase. Call for go around flaps. If manually flying, apply the rudder to compensate for the increase in thrust and try to keep the beta target centered. Pitch to 12.5 degrees and follow SRS orders. Pilot monitoring will select one stage of flap up, and with a positive climb, select the gear up. The FDs will be in nav, and if it does not engage, it will be in go around track. Assuming the two-way point is correct, push the heading to engage nav and read the FMA. The FMGC changes from approach page to go around page. At engine out acceleration altitude, select vert speed 0 by pushing to level off. At F speed, select flaps 1. At S speed, select flaps 0. Select open climb when the speed is approaching green dot. Perform the after takeoff climb checklist, disarm the spoilers and turn the runway and nose light to off. Okay, some bonus here for single engine circling. Circling is normally flown in config 3 with the gear down. Well, do watch my video on circling approach. However, with one engine inoperative, the aircraft may not be able to maintain level flight in this configuration. The crew should check the maximum weight shown in the QRH circling approach with one engine inoperative procedure table. If the landing weight is above this maximum value, the landing gear extension should be delayed until established on the final approach. However, do take note that if the aircraft flies below 750 feet RA, with the gear not extended, the ECAM warning, landing gear not downlocked, and the master warning will be triggered. The red arrow under the gear lever will illuminate. Do watch my video on landing gear. GPWS too low gear warning is generated if the landing gear is not downlocked by 500 feet RA.